Hello everyone. I want to first apologize for not having a video in a couple of weeks. As you know, I was doing the Sinquefield Cup, and I've only gotten up to, I think, round 7 and 8. Well, in any case, by now you know that Fabulous Fabiano did make it to the top of that Sinquefield Cup, and the world champion made it in second. But in any case, this video is going to be a reminder of a chess rule. I'm going to go back to my chess academy days, when you were watching videos for learning how to play chess. I want to revisit En-Passant. I know I have 2, possibly 3 videos on En-Passant. My first one was kind of slow, and my second one was better, and I think I have a third one out there even. I'm not even sure anymore. It's been a while. But I want to revisit it for a couple of reasons. One, En-Passant was used at the Sinquefield Cup in round 5, Topalov versus Legrave. Maxime Legrave, the Frenchman, and Topalov, Vishir, Topalov, no, not Vishir, excuse me. Vasilin Topalov and Vishir Legrave. Topalov was playing white, and he won this game. So, En-Passant is not used often, but when it is used, it's kind of unique. You know, you don't see it too often. So when you see it in the strongest chess tournament on the planet, according to the Sinquefield Cup, it's kind of unique. In any case, I want to revisit it because I also want to talk about chess notation. So here it is. It's round 5 of the Sinquefield Cup, which just took place a few weeks ago, just finished a couple of weeks ago. And during the Topalov Vishir Legrave game, it was Legrave who played f5. Okay, so let me just go ahead and highlight this. So, as you know from my other videos about En-Passant, this is an opportunity for white to capture En-Passant. And what I usually did was I explained to you how it works, and I also explained the notation. But it seems to me that they're starting to use a slightly different notation. It's still valid, of course. It's valid because it was used in a professional tournament. Excuse me 1 second. Sorry about that. So usually the En-Passant, at least I thought it was, in most books that I've read, the En-Passant is designated, oh, by the way, please play this in high definition so you can see this fine print here. It's not that fine, but it's kind of small. So play it in high definition so you can read this. You can see my mouse circling the move F5. Okay? So what they usually do is they would say, in this case it would be G takes F5, little e, little p for En-Passant. But in this case, they use G takes F6. Okay? So here's the thing. In explaining how En-Passant works, I explained to you that if you're on your 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let me just go ahead and highlight that. Okay, you are on your 5th, and your opponent moves 2 squares on his first pawn move. You are allowed, of course, to take En-Passant. So usually at the old way of doing it, or the way I'm used to it, is denoting the piece being removed, I should say, and the pawn taking would be G takes F6. Excuse me, F5. In this case, they write G takes F6, and they don't use the EP. So, in other words, the way I had explained it is when your opponent moves the two spaces, I told you, you pretend he only moved the one space. So that would be F6. Okay? So now they are starting to use the notation G takes F6, even though the pawn was actually on F5. So it's understood. You know, you're a professional chess player, you know that when you see that, you know that it was en-passant. So, in other words, I don't know, I'm not sure if I'm explaining this properly, but in other words, it takes out some of the writing, because if you were to have to write G takes F5 EP, it's just more writing. In other words, G takes F6 is a shorter hand way of writing it, and professional chess player obviously knows, you know, that was en-passant. So I just wanted to, you know, make a note of that. This was at the Sinquefield Cup. It just took place. It just ended a week or so ago. It was intriguing how I didn't realize that they actually changed the way they wrote that down. So there it is. It was move number 15 F5. I'm sorry, move number 16 F5 and 17 G takes F6 instead of G takes F5 EP. So I don't know if I confused you more or if I helped you out, but this is the en-passant rule. And here's the thing. En-passant was invented by the French some 500 years ago, give or take. And it was used, funnily enough, against a Frenchman, Vachier-Lagrave. Maxime Vachier-Lagrave is the French player. And he's, of course, playing black. And Topalov actually won this game. If you like, I could just go ahead and scroll through the whole game for you. Actually, I'll go scroll a little faster. Let's go to the end of the game. So this is how it ended. Okay, and then Vachier-Lagrave resigned at this point. So I'm not going to go into the analytics of the game. I'll leave that to the professional analyzers. And I just wanted to point out this, oddly enough, en-passant and the notation that they use these days. I didn't know that they changed it, and there it is. It's still perfectly normal to use the old, you know, the older way of saying G takes F5 EP, but apparently, like I said, some new people got in there and said, well, why don't we just write G takes F6? But there it is. Topalov took the pawn en-passant, and it was noted as G takes F6. Okay? I'll let you see that over and over again. So thank you for watching. I hope this didn't confuse you more. I'm hoping that it actually enforced your understanding of en-passant rather than confusing you more. But mainly it's the notation that I was a little surprised at. So it's perfectly understandable. I mean, you can see I'm gonna remind you, or I'm gonna reiterate the fact that they write down G6 instead of G5, and they don't use the EP. So there it is. Okay. Thank you again for watching. I hope I didn't confuse you more. Please subscribe and keep on playing.